Yo, what's good YouTube? It's Pablo and welcome back to the channel. I'm bringing you guys the first episode in a brand new series here on GG Sports. This will be a new Madden 19 connected franchise mode, and this is a series that I plan on going on for several seasons. We're going to build this team up. We're going to see if we can make them eventual Super Bowl winners and get them back to the Super Bowl. And we'll be starting from week 1 after the preseason, and we're using the Seattle Seahawks. And this is a team that I feel like has really declined over the last couple of years. You guys know the story. They had Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Byron Maxwell, Brandon Browner. They had the Legion of Boom, but that kind of just fell apart. And then the team is now led by Russell Wilson. He is the face of the Seattle Seahawks right now. Their defense has declined tremendously. The offense has not been as efficient as it has been in years past. It doesn't have the weapons to grind it out on the ground like they used to previously. That's probably why you guys saw them spend a high draft pick on Rashad Penny, but we'll get into the roster very soon. But taking over as the head coach is going to be a new head coach, Terry Marshall, taking over for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, obviously, like I said, had the team performing well early on in his tenure there, but then the obvious regression of the team is going to be what led the front office to move on from him, is what we're going to say for this series, because like I said, Terry Marshall is going to step in as the head coach and try to build a new culture. I did end up going with a team builder coach build, so I'm going to be having a lot of XP. I'm focusing on the team and the developmental picks that I do make in the draft. We'll be doing a lot of scouting and things like that, but we're going through the roster right now. At wide receiver, we do have Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Marshall, Jerron Brown as well. So we have some decent potential there, but if any one of these guys go down, it really could leave a really dry situation as far as production goes at wide receiver, because I don't think any one of those guys can really shoulder the load on their own. But at tight end, we're gonna have Will Dissly starting because of course Ed Dixon is hurt, and I do have the real life roster injuries that were on the team in week 1 of the regular season. So we're gonna have many of the real life injuries, so you guys will get a very realistic experience. I felt comfortable starting this series now that the season has went on. We have kind of an idea of where teams are, and that's what really made the Seahawks interesting, especially the situation that they do have with Earl Thomas. So I'll be looking to trade him. I won't be playing him at all. He's holding out. The type of coach that Terry Bradshaw, I'm going to imagine him being, is a coach that doesn't allow holding in quotations. That's what they called it as far as what Earl Thomas was doing. He would go to practice but not actually contribute and things like that, but he won't get to play on Sundays with Coach Terry Marshall. So we'll be looking to move him for a draft pick. We'll see what we can get. But we're going through the roster right now. One of the more interesting picks that the Seahawks made was Shaquem Griffin. The one-handed player definitely overcame a lot of adversity in his career, has a truly inspiring story. He's definitely going to be one of those players that I look to develop as the series goes on and eventually be one of the anchors there on our defense. Him along with Rashad Penny, Will Dissly are some of the rookies that I'm going to be focusing on progressing and developing. But like I said, we are really hurt at safety with Earl Thomas. He's going to be sitting out. Then Cam Chancellor, he's hurt on this game, but he's likely retired in real life, so we won't have him. So those are some of the holes that we're going to have to look to fix on defense. Our best cornerback is actually going to be the brother of the rookie that I just talked about, who is Shaquille Griffin. So he's our best cornerback. We're going to look to develop him as well. So eventually these two players are really going to be the anchors on our defense, the leaders of our defense eventually. And of course we still do have Bobby Wagner, tremendous middle linebacker, can make a ton of plays on the field, gets all over the field. But we're going to go to our overview of the key players. Number 1 is going to be Russell Wilson. I mentioned earlier in the video, he is the face of the Seattle Seahawks franchise. So they're going to go as far as Russ will take them. That's the outlook that we have on him. He is the true leader of this team. And then we have the first round draft pick Rashad Penny. He's been pretty disappointing in real life, so I'm really going to try to change that. I'm going to center the play calling around him. He will be the featured back in our running back committee that also has Mike Davis along with Chris Carson. But at our wide receiver, we have Doug Baldwin, one of the most consistent wide receivers that the Seahawks have had in the last several years. He doesn't need any introduction. You guys know who he is. He's, like I said, been one of the most consistent Seahawks receivers. And then we have Will Dissly. In real life, he kind of burst into the scene in week 1 as he went for over 100 yards and a touchdown. So there was definitely some potential that I saw there. So we're going to look to develop him and eventually become that Jason Witten-esque tight end for us who can really do a lot of blocking, but it would be an efficient route runner and really good hands. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Shaquille Griffin is going to be our number 1 corner. Take a look at his ratings there. He's going to be a player that does get better over the course of this series, but we will still be looking for a number 1 corner through free agency and also the draft. And then there is the rookie that I mentioned previously who has the inspiring story, and he'll be looking to get some time on this Seahawks defense. He'll be a rotational player this season as well. But like I mentioned, also Earl Thomas III, we're going to be looking to trade him to get some value for him as he's holding out. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think would be a suitable trade for Earl Thomas, because I'm going to be looking to move him before the deadline and maybe get some picks, or I may get a player in return. I know one that was rumored to go down was him for Le'Veon Bell, but that didn't go through because he did get hurt eventually. But we have the pleasure of having him healthy, so we can move him in this franchise mode. But we're going through the schedule. Definitely hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take a look at the schedule to see what we're working with and the type of challenges we'll face this season. But leave a like and definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. I hope you guys are excited for the first game. That will be versus the Denver Broncos. Let's see how the Seahawks can fare in that game. In this franchise, I think they lost that game in real life in week 1. So let's see how it goes in that episode. You guys don't want to miss it. It is a close game, and I'll see you guys in that one later.